Welcome to Association Rockstars, where we hear about the journey and insights of some amazing association executives and partners who are building the association industry of tomorrow. I'm your host, Lowell Aplebaum, the CEO and strategy catalyst at Vista Cova, where we partner with organizations on strategic facilitation. And today I have with me Amanda Bowen, CAE, who's the president and owner of Stevens & Associates, an association management company down in Tallahassee, Florida. She leads professional trade associations in various roles and is active in many industry organizations like ASAE and FSAE and AMCI. She's earned the CAE designation as well, woohoo, and is a Six Sigma Green Belt, as well as won the Association Executive Rising Star Award at Florida SAE. Along with being a small business owner, Amanda enjoys her community with her family, including her newborn daughter, who is ridiculously adorable. Amanda, so happy to have you with us today.
Hey, thanks, Lowell.
So on Rockstars, we like to start with acknowledging that the Rockstars that we have on here, like all of us, have places where they are strong, where they bring to the table expertise that are better than your average bear. And so we're just wondering, as you are a rock star in so many of our association communities, what's one superpower that you have?
I mean, I like to think that I'm a fun person, and that's something I bring to the table. It's a lot of energy and a lot of fun. And it's easy to say that, just bring a little bit of energy to the table, but when you're doing that professionally, it's a totally different ballgame. You've got to have your basics, you've got to have your governance and your foundation. But if you bring that little bit of extra, that energetic activity or that outside of the box creative thinking, it's an entirely different game. And I had somebody tell me that recently. The very first organization I was ever a CEO for came to me, and we were just chatting on Zoom a couple weeks ago, like we usually do nowadays. And he mentioned to me, he said, we're doing so great. We're in such a good place right now. He said, but we really miss having you around because of the energy you brought to our team. He said, it's just, we're doing good. We're succeeding. We're growing. We have new members, but there's a certain energy that you have about you that, it's evident not everybody has. So that meant a lot. And it's just kind of exciting to see that rub off on people and to have your energy, bring them up to speed. It's really exciting to be able to do that.
Well, I've seen at the FSAE events I've gone to when they've had the costume receptions that you always are a full participant in full regalia, if you will. I guess I asked a question about that. That energy and that fun, I can't agree with you more how important it is. This is certainly a time when so many of the communities that we're working with, I would say, are at energy lows for realistic circumstances. Let's pause for a moment. I mean, I know that you own an AMC and that's been part of your journey. Can you explain just for a moment to level set, like, what is the role of an AMC in the larger association community? Because I think right now in particular, it's an important place for us to think about as an option to go to.
It truly is. And, a lot of people, even within our industry, don't realize exactly what an AMC is or what is my role? What do you do as part of the AMC that's different than a paid staff person or employee in an association? So what we do and what other AMCs do, our role is to be that service that is almost can serve as the backbone or that role of reliability and adaptability in any organization. So for our company, for example, I'm a small business owner, so we really focus on specific trade and professional associations that we have strengths and suits in, and we work with them to fill whatever type of need they have. If it's, to serve as their CEO, to serve as their executive leadership, if it's to be their event planner and meeting planner in terms of, doing their taxes and working with their accountant, doing financials and just maintaining an office space and doing governance and best practice and planning. So, it's to be flexible. You have to have a certain level of energy to adapt and bounce back and forth like that. But, there are certain people that thrive on that. I'm one of those people that thrives on chaos. So, you can kind of bounce back and forth and do all these different things and just have rotating hats like so many association professionals do.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the job, is to wear 20 different hats a day, and to be okay with that, and to let other people know, you know, it's okay for them to do that too.
How have you, I mean, energy came up in that answer as well. You know, how have you found that you've been able in this moment to bring that positive energy that you have, the fun energy? Uh, where is it appropriate, and how have you been sort of infusing that with the clients that you have, that you work with, or in any of your volunteer places that I know you're very involved in as well?
Well, I think, you know, before you can bring that fun level, they have to have, it's the communication they have to have first. You know, making sure that you share your knowledge and what you're learning, because you know, Lowell, you and I, 25 hours of the day, we're learning and absorbing best practices and new things to do, or how to approach these situations in the times we're living in now and where we may be a month from now. You know, but that's not always evident on the front end. There's so much that goes on the back end that executives do, and AMCs do, that the association or its members may never see.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, is to, you know, to share that with them a little bit. You know, our clients are calm for the most part. They're calm. They have that assurance. You know, they may not know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but they know that their AMC is level-headed. We're calm. We have a game plan going in, and we are adaptable. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, is giving them that sense of calm and assurity, is that, is that a word, assurity? We made it up.
Assurity works too. I like it.
Okay, we made it up today. Look at us being trendsetters. So, you know, it's giving them that peace of mind to know that, well, we're in good hands with an AMC. We can be adaptive. If we need to completely change gears and tomorrow go this way, we have a supportive team that can help us get there and do that. So it's okay. So all of their stress and energy is not spent on, you know, what are we going to do? We have no backbone right now, or our backbone is unstable. It's okay. We're going to get a game plan and go forward, but we may not know what it looks like. So we can still breathe and look down this way a little bit, or we can still engage our members in fun ways, and, you know, have a member Zoom meeting, and let's invite a llama to call in. You know,
I saw that.
Have a llama as a Zoom participant. Okay, it's happened. I'm not going to tell you who, when, why, or how, but it's happened. And it's just a little thing to remind your members that you're human.
Right.
We're going to wake up tomorrow,
right.
And, you know, the sun still rises in the east and sets in the west, and just give them something else to think about for 5 minutes out of the day is I think, something that we're all looking for.
You know, your love of chaos, but your ability to bring calm and a steady hand through it is a nice balance. You know, in your own journey, I mean, you obviously speak with fluency about the association world from your experience. I mean, when in your own journey did you feel like this was like your professional home, like this was a good fit for like what you brought and what you like to do?
Well, I'll tell you, I think for many years before I came into the association industry, I was looking for the association industry. I just didn't know what it was or where it was or how to find it. So really, when I kind of fell into it by accident, I won't even tell you how that happened. I knew from day one. I found,
because we like good stories.
I answered a Craigslist ad. Okay.
That mine first was answering a Monster job ad. So I'm with you.
So it was a Craigslist ad, and I said, you know, it was almost like answering a personal ad, and I was like, oh, they're describing their dream person, and that sounds like me. And it ended up being, I think, like a 3-hour interview. And by the time we walked out, like, we were hugging. We were just like, okay, like, we just found our soulmate here. So, but you know, I knew from that day that I was like, this is my profession. This is my home. It's what I've been looking for. It gives me that sense of fulfillment. But I'll tell you, in the job, there was one moment that, you know, as you go along, you'll have some days where you doubt yourself or you doubt what you're doing. Has the industry changed so much that I no longer love it? Or have I changed that, you know, it's they're not loving me? What's going on? And I had a day, you know, or a week or so, you're just really overwhelmed. And I had a moment where I was working with one of my clients. This was several years ago. We were working with a client and they were doing a competition for high school students all across the state. I'm working with a bunch of kids. I love working with the high school students, and
Yeah.
we're working with them on video projects, building robots and doing all these cool things. And as part of the competition, one of the winners got a cash prize that went back into their program to fund their program at their school, keep them going. So it was my job, it was my role at the time with this client to call the winner, call the recipient, and let the teacher know, he was their coach, let the coach know that, your team, your class of students actually won, and we're giving you guys this check. We're going to come present it to your program. Our board members will be over in a month or so. And I happened to call him during the school day. They knew that was the day that the winners were being announced. So he left his phone on during class. I'm not getting him in trouble, I hope. And he answered the phone, knew who I was. And, I let him know real briefly, hey, we just met, wanted to let you guys know you came in first. And this man who was I've met him once or twice, well established in his career.
Right.
I want to say, probably, a little bit of an older gentleman, working as a teacher of all things and trade profession. And he just starts crying on the phone with me in the middle of his class. Okay. And he says, wait. He goes, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can I put you on speaker? And I was like, okay, who am I talking to? He goes, I'm actually in the middle of my robotics class right now. We all knew that the winners were going to be announced today. So I had my ringer on. He goes, can you repeat what you just said to the class? So he had about, 21 high school students in his class with him. And I repeated, you guys win, we're giving you guys this money. They erupted, they start cheering. And I'm just like, to get high school kids excited about something, to get them to be fun and to get energy out of them. I said, what I'm doing is right. I might be in a funk or have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month where I'm just not feeling it. But other people are still getting their energy from me. And I need to remember that they're still feeding off of what I'm putting out there. And it really kept me grounded. And, and he came back and said, the kids actually sent us a thank you card. And they're like, what he told me later, he said, what you don't know is that money kept our program alive for another year. This program wouldn't have been here the next school year. It was going to get cut, but we were able to use that money, to get the supplies and the equipment and the books and to keep that program going for another year. And that's 20 more students, who you're able to keep their dream alive for another year and give them a reason to go to school and be excited that day. And I'm like, wow, that happened. And my energy got them excited about it. I'm like, I am in the right place. This is where I need to be. This is why I came here, to touch lives of people and give them hope. So,
that's a beautiful interwoven narrative of of you and your place in association and the power of associations itself to
Absolutely. You don't think that associations can do that. You're like, well, what's an association? Oh, it's just a networking. People got to happy hour and you socialize and you drink together. And I'm like, well, we do that, but it's such a very small component of what, everybody does that, but you think about it and I'm like, associations do so much more. You really, more than any other organization, have the power to reach out and touch different aspects of our world and of our community, and make a change and make happen and inspire other people to make change too.
Well, as you think about some leaders of associations, peer leaders that you've seen, what inspires you about other leaders that you see in the association space that either have been meaningful to your journey or that you still aspire to even today?
I think one of the characteristics that I always look for in people is humility. We talk about being able to wear different hats. Don't be too proud to say that, you're going to go check the mail and sit at the reception desk and answer phones for an hour if that's what you have to do. It's not, no, I'm the CEO. I run this place. I don't do that anymore. It's like, oh no, you absolutely do. Everybody does. It's not being too proud to, to do the little task and to take out the trash because, tomorrow you'll be able to do something bigger. I always look to leaders who can sit down and say, I'm not perfect. Here are my flaws. I don't advertise them to the world necessarily, but I wear them on my sleeve. They make me who I am, and I'm human. In today's day and age, we have to be able to relate to each other that way. And, we don't get lost through all the technology and all the clutter that we have. is, I know I can reach out to you, Lowell, anytime and just be like, hey, I've got this issue I'm struggling with. Can we bounce some ideas off of each other? And I consider you to be one of my mentors. That's something that a lot of people in this space, we have a lot of shared mentors, is to say, I'm human. I have flaws. I've got issues. I don't always make the right choice, but I know how to recover, or I know how to try something new and reach out to my support system for help. And having that humility and that sense of, openness and transparency about you is just something that I think we're going to have to rely on leaders like that to get us forward in the future. And those are going to be the change makers.
Well, the authenticity of the vulnerability that you're describing through humility, right? Like the ability to say, like, I don't know everything, but I can find those that will help me learn, that can help me be better. And I think that really is part of the strength of what we find in our community. And as kind as you are to me, what I know I've heard colleagues say about how they look to you as a mentor as well, and from the leadership you've shown and continue to show. Part of this moment in time, of course, is the importance of associations in society. And so part of the purpose of doing this whole series is to think about, like, how do we continue to show examples of rock stars and try to, like, build them for the future? Like, how do we help encourage those that are on a path of leadership and a path of being awesome? Like, how do we help them along the way? And I know our time is starting to get short. Any thoughts you have for, like, up and coming rising rock stars? Like, what would you say to them about how to be awesome going forward?
I think, what gets lost so much in the world that we live in now, in society now, is living up to the standards and perceptions that other people hold for you.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with it. I think I've really come to a place of peace and where I'm at now. And I'm not going to say everything's easy for me, because it's not, but I have a lot more confidence in the decisions I'm able to make and the actions I do, because I'm living up to my standard and my expectation. When I first started this journey, I was in my late 20s. I was a CEO of an association by 29. Yeah. And I will never forget, one of their board members of that organization made a comment to me that, was another one of those days was, wait, what am I doing? It's, you're too young, you're too female, you're too this, you're too that, and I will not serve with you. So you're the reason I'm stepping down. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. I can't change my age. I can't, there's certain things about me I can't change, and I wouldn't want to. But, we've come to a place now where it's like, I'm always going to be too young to somebody, but I'm going to be too old to others. I'm always going to be too female. I'm always going to be too tall, too short, too this, too that, too fast, too slow. It doesn't matter, but it's my expectation and my standard that is really the goal and objective I need to meet. As long as I'm doing that, I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. It's finding who you are, finding your passion and what fuels you. Lowell, I had a conversation with a very close peer of mine just a couple weeks ago. I've had this conversation with my family and with various other people. It's, you've got to live your passion. And my question is, when you get in your car at the end of the day and you go home, are you proud of what you did that day? Are you proud of who you are? Do you cry on the way home? Do you sit in the parking lot in the morning because you don't want to go into the building? Are you proud that your kids are looking at you and saying, she has so much fun, she loves what she does every day, I want to grow up and be that? I don't care, what my kids grow up to be, as long as they're happy with what they're doing. And I think that's the same message that, we say that for our kids or our family, but we don't say that for ourselves. So I tell other people who are coming up, someone reached out to me this week with wanting some suggestion or encouragement. And I said, look, I'm not going to give you the answer you want, but the answer you need is, are you living your passion? Is this a job or is this a career for you? Do you want to change that? Are you just in a funk? Do you just need a little boost of encouragement? Or is this something where it's not mentally good for you? Is this toxic for you? Or, do you wake up every day inspiring other people just because you're so confident in who you are and what you can bring to the table? And when you find your passion, you're living your joy, other people see that. And it encourages you to do better, and it makes others around you brighter and stand taller. So it's everything in life is a circle. You know, if you're in that toxic world, you're living a toxic circle. But once you find your passion, whatever it is, and you live it and you show it, that's a circle too. And it just comes back around tenfold.
Well, what occurs to me is that if you're too old or too young or too experienced or too inexperienced, what that actually means is you're probably just right.
Exactly. That's exactly what the organization needs, is they need somebody who's different. You know, you need somebody who's not afraid to be different or say different things or try something new, you know, and that's a good fit. But you're always going to be to something for everybody. How many people are on this planet? You know, you can't please all of them at the same time.
Well, I will say that for our conversation today, you were just right for exactly what. Want to thank you for spending some time and talking with us today. I also want to say thank you to Amy Hager, who's in the background engaging with you in the comments and helping to produce Association Rockstars. And of course, thank you everyone who's been tuning in and joining us to together recognize those awesome rock stars we have in our community. Please feel free to post any questions or ideas in the comments so we can continue to build upon the success and the conversations we're having. Until next time, Association Rock On.